Bullseye. Seems like the water spared the train. It's beautiful in a way, don't you think? I bet every Arcanist would give his left hand just to get a look at it. And we're about to use it. Only thing left to do now is find out how. Seems to me that we first have to open this gate and reactivate the mechanism that powers this place. I'll take a look around. Try and find something that lets us open the gate. Ta-da! Yes, I'm amazing. I know that. If being a merc doesn't work out in the long run, maybe I'll ask the Order to hire me as an expert on Pyrean railways. But no guarantee this thing won't drive us right into the next abyss. Anyway, I guess even with this thing, it should be a while till we arrive. Let's make ourselves comfortable. Sorry for the drama back there at the house. I guess I just didn't know what to make of the situation. I figure all of this is just wrong. But I'm repeating myself. If the High Ones were planning to confuse us, they definitely succeeded. We really should tell the Grand Master about this, and about what happened to Constantine. Still, we can't allow this to get inside our heads too much. What matters right now is the mission. And at least it stays exciting. Two daring adventurers who have gotten themselves into something they don't even remotely understand are plundering ancient ruins in search of treasure. Don't laugh, but this reminds me a little of my past, of my childhood. Not the part including mysterious corpses and crazed mages, of course. My sister and I, when we were young, we always used to go exploring in caves near our manor. Father always gave us a good scolding when he got wind of it, but of course that didn't keep us from doing it again. Right, because I never told you. Adela and I are not exactly close these days anyway, probably because we lost our bond somehow, after our father died. Yes, he did. Together with my siblings. Actually, Adela and I are the only surviving Delverics. All the others were murdered. No need to be. But I appreciate the thought, so thanks. In a sad way, a part of me is actually glad everything happened the way it did back then. It made me into a man, and it showed me what kind of characteristics have a tendency to drastically shorten one's life. Stubbornness. My father was a judge in the tribunal, you know. He was a hard man, who at least, after our mother died while giving birth to Adela, lived for only one thing. His principles. Justice knows no compromise. That was his great creed. No matter who stood before him in court, my father treated them all the same. Damien Delveric, the epitome of justice. Yes, an extreme attitude for an extreme man. One day, the son of a highly regarded Archer Sublime stood before the 12 judges of the court. Valenzio Duran. He had murdered 2 whores, made them happy, as he called it, and it was obvious that he didn't feel so much as a hint of remorse. You know those kind of people. The ones who think that money and power entitle them to anything they want. Of course you can. 11 of the 12 judges voted for a verdict of not guilty, because they knew Valenzio's father was influential within the Relata. Only my father, of course, remained unshaken. 1 week later, our manor was robbed by 4 masked men who killed everyone. Servants, guards, my 2 younger brothers, all of them. Officially, they were bandits, who just happened to be running around with blades made of shadow steel. My sister and I only survived because we had snuck out for one of our expeditions. Ironic, isn't it? Of course, it was the only logical consequence of my father's actions. And what good did it do in the end? None. As we speak, Valenzio's enjoying himself in some brothel, with 2 whores and a bowl of grapes. But you see, there's no point in being angry about this. And do you know why? Because this is just how the world works. There's no divine justice, no system through which it's decided who lives and who dies. There are decisions and there are consequences. That's it. This is also why there's absolutely no point in fighting for ideals, the greater good, or whatever else you want to call it. First of all, because no one will thank you for it, and second, because people are stupid. That's the one universal rule that there is to this world. No matter how much you try to accomplish something, in the end, stupid people will destroy all you've achieved with no more than a snap of their fingers. Fight for the moment, and the moment only. Because unlike everything else, you can be certain of its truth. Do me a favor and read the Chronicles of Vin, then ask me again. No. But if he had wanted Valenzio to die so badly, there would have been other ways. Poison, an accident, a hired killer. Just a hint of common sense, that's all he would have needed. But of course, none of that would have conformed to his sacred principles. Adela and I were still young when all this happened. A friendly family took us in, and my sister joined the Order of the Apothecary in the Frostcliff Mountains. But since then, we haven't been able to speak to one another. She raised a wall of ice around herself, so to speak, and fled into old family books and memories. But, anyway, enough about me. You're an orphan too, aren't you? How come? You never told me about that. You told me that the Creator's temple in Ostian had something to do with it, but what exactly happened? I see. I've had my share of those kinds of dreams too. In the one I had, I was always walking down an alley in Ark's Harbor. There were figures dressed in rags and veils, cowering next to the walls. And even though I didn't want to, I had to pass by them. And when I did, they started to weep, and all at once tried to drag me over to them. I screamed and I fought. And eventually I came to realize that they all had my father's face. And then their skin would start melting from their skull like hot wax. Not a very nice image, as you can imagine. One day the dreams just stopped, though. I don't know why. But anyway, enough of this gloomy talk for now. We should get some rest. We've still got a long ride ahead of us. I don't say this often, but I like working with you. You're okay. You really are. Good night. Rise and shine, my friend. We have arrived. How'd you sleep? I fell asleep too, but it must have been 7 or 8 hours at least. Very interesting machine, this Undertrain. Come on, let's take a look outside. Well, I'll be damned. This is Half Moon Island. I can't believe it. And I guess that camp over there belongs to Terranor Korek. I suggest we split up. That way we'll still have a chance if they catch one of us. Here, this is your plate. I'll try going in from the east. You should go in from the west. And don't get caught, or try to play the hero, all right? Considering that we're up against an entire army, that's a bad idea, even for someone with your abilities. Anywhere inside the camp. But of course an officer's tent, or maybe even Korek's, would be ideal. We'll meet again here by sunrise.
Look at that. The urchin child who just won't stop struggling. Indeed. What do we want? You amuse us, you know. How you refuse to give up. How you keep on fighting, even though deep down you know your struggle is futile. But still, you have come a long way. You have ignited the sigil stone, and you have found the beacon. And this, urchin child, this amuses us. Because nothing is more entertaining than a harvest which fights back. It makes things so much more exciting. So here's our offer, Prophet. Ask us whatever is on your mind, and we swear to answer truthfully. Or you can leave. It's up to you. That's up to you to decide. Come on, urchin. Ask or leave. In the end, you and your people will burn anyway. But sometimes, even the hope for deliverance alone has its merits. They want to destroy the beacon. Amusing, isn't it? They are doing our work for us. Yes, but they are naive. They believe that the cleansing is a good thing, and that we the High Ones, have come to raise humanity to a higher stage. Evolution. That is what they call it. Just as the lizard became a dragon, and the bird became a man, their leader, Taranar Korek, thinks he is one of the emissaries, just like you. No, and neither is the old Aranthio. Korek considers himself a savior, chosen to guide humanity to a glorious future. But he does not understand that he is a victim of his own pride. We have never appeared to him like we did to you. You are the only figure of significance in this game, Prophet. It's just what you think it is. A weapon that allows you to bring an end to all this. Fear, hate, joy. You assume we are thinking in human terms, Prophet. Yet, a true deity is more than a simple human able to throw fireballs, as your late Lightborn were. A true god is a state of being, and its existence alone forms reality according to its will. There were so many before you, and so many have found the weapon, yet still we exist, and the cleansing is imminent. What does this tell you? Lofty words. Hold on to the thought if it gives you strength. We know what you want to hear now. That you are special, that you have always been. But this is not true. You have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the truth is, you make our task easier. You are weak. Very well. Now shoo. Continue your vain search. And forgive us for the pain.
My lord, he is awake.
Splendid. May I introduce you? To your left, there's Samael, my bodyguard, master of Ostian's arena for decades. And to your right, there's Blade Master Almus Ordan, the most gifted sword fighter of Nerim's north and commander of my troops. Furthermore, there's an entire garrison of elite soldiers outside. So, can I trust you to not do anything stupid? I want to talk to you, face to face, as civilized people do. No, not really. By the way, we have captured your friend as well. He's in a tent up in the camp, and we will compare your stories, so you'd better stick to the truth. Samael, take off the blindfold. Well then, I am Taranor of Korek's blood, former ruler of Kaviet, and now representative of the free peoples of Nerim, which you undoubtedly already knew. Who are you? That is who we are, yes. The civil war is over, and Nerim is once again united, free of tyranny and false gods. We don't follow a monarch anymore, and we do not pray to any idols, unlike people in this country. But we digress. Who are you? I see. And who sent you? And why? Actually, no, I won't. Contrary to what you might believe, I am no butcher, and I don't kill for the fun of it. And even though I cannot guarantee you will survive this night, I promise that cooperation will increase your chances drastically. So, who sent you? Just as I suspected. And how exactly? Of course. We have taken the liberty of stripping you of your belongings. If you'll excuse me for a moment, please. A silver plate. I see. They were sent to spy on us.
Then let's kill them.
No. He was honest, and I am a man of my word. And actually, you have done us a favor. We can use the plates to present Aranthiel with our offer, without putting ourselves in danger.
What? How? What are these plates?
Old artifacts of the Pyreans. Their magic works like a sort of ear conch. Sounds are transferred from one plate to the other. And I strongly suspect that at this very moment, Tealor Aranthiel and Arathzel's traitorous heirs are gathered around the counterpart, waiting for someone to activate this plate, aren't they? Samael, do you know how to use these plates? Excellent. Then activate it. I will talk to old Aranthiel. Let's hope that he will listen for once in his life. Otherwise, this will end in disaster. Tealor Aranthiel. I know that you are there and that you can hear me, so why don't we just stop playing games? As you wish, Grand Master. You can keep quiet, but you should be aware of who's going to pay for your arrogance.
Haven't you had enough war by now? After 2 decades?
2 decades of war that were necessary because your god suppressed the people. Or would you deny even this?
Is that why you wanted to talk to me, Quarek? To throw around accusations?
No, that's not what I wanted. We are talking because I want to give you a chance. We know that you are fighting the High Ones, and that you're trying to reconstruct the beacon in order to stop them.
Which makes perfect sense, since the cleansing means the end of all life. Don't you agree?
No, I don't. And if you even remotely understood who the High Ones actually are, and what they represent, you wouldn't either. They are evolution, the ascendance of humanity to a higher level.
What?
Let's just face the facts for a moment. There's no evidence that the cleansing, whatever shape it will take, will be violent. Yes, the Pyreans are gone, but how do we know they've not just simply gone to another place? That they've transformed? The High Ones are not our enemies, Aranthiel. They are the next step of evolution, the envoys of our purpose, that we might become more than the simple-minded creatures we've been during the past millennia. This is what the cleansing actually is. Don't you understand? It's the moment when humanity is relieved of its vices, united, reaching a higher level of existence.
That's absurd.
To you, it might sound that way, but I have seen it with my own eyes. Ever since the gods departed, the High Ones have sent me dreams in which I can see the future, and it's glorious. It's not our destiny to stay human, Aranthiel. With their help, we will be gods, true gods, not the idols you have worshipped. It's the truth, whether you accept it or not.
By the... people are dying, Quarek. There's war all over Veen. The dead are rising from their graves, and people are killing each other for no apparent reason. Whatever you have dreamed, does this look like some kind of ascension to you?
I know about the Red Madness, but has it ever occurred to you that it follows a pattern as well? That it only befalls certain people?
Whom?
People whose thinking is in shackles. People whose minds are not free, and who are superstitious and ignorant. Such as the people in your country, to whom you have denied the truth about their gods.
What? Are you saying that the Red Madness only affects religious people? People who still believe in the Lightborn?
Yes. Religiosity is a pattern of thought that favors irrationality over reason. Someone who thinks in these patterns is simply not ready for the advancement, and the Red Madness is simply a way to sieve them out. A natural selection, if you will. That's also why you are not affected by it, Aranthiel, because you know that what you and your order fought so hard to keep up over the years were lies.
This is nonsense. There have been cases of red madness in the Order too, and we have seen what the cleansing will bring us in the dreams and in their chronicles, and it has nothing to do with some kind of ascension. Just listen to yourself, Korek. You talk like a mad prophet. Is that what you want to be?
You react just as I expected. Very well then. Will you at least hear our offer?
Speak.
The cleansing has to happen, and we, the free peoples of Nerim, will make sure that it does. We will not allow your backward thinking to keep humanity from advancing as it has done for centuries. Therefore, if you don't want a war, you will stop rebuilding the beacon, and you will tell your people the truth about their gods, so that then they, too, can ascend when the time has come. You've said it yourself, Aranthiel. This world has had enough war. Spare it yet another one.
I would if I could. But if these are your demands, then no.
Then we will have to force you. This means bloodshed, Aranthiel, and innocents will die. And all because...
This conversation is over.
Bloody fool. Alma, prepare the attack. He asked for it.
Yes, my lord. What will happen to the prisoners?
The spies. Right. We're at war now, and this means you're my enemies. But as I said, I am a man of my word, and so I'll leave your fate to chance. Samael, put him to sleep, and then put him and his friend on a raft. If they survive, so be it. If not, fair enough.
Well, well, look who's here. How are you doing, silly? Still on the search? Is that so? Honestly, I find that a little hard to believe. But I guess you know what you're doing, don't you? You always did. Come on, let's go inside. I prepared a little surprise. Or should I say a big one? I suppose that depends on how you look at it. Ta-da-da-da! Look who I dug out. It's Mother and little sister. Aren't they beautiful?
Aren't we beautiful? Aren't we beautiful?
But I suppose what we dead people do doesn't concern you now, does it, my child? Because you are important now. Ha! Can you believe it? He's important now. He is chosen.
Chosen. Chosen.
But you know, I think you've forgotten something amidst all this ballyhoo of prophecies, cleansings, and beacons. That you are weak. You are pathetic. You are worthless. And you are weak. That's what you were back then. That's what you are now. And that's what you'll always be. Saving lives? You? Ridiculous! But then again, maybe we do you wrong. So why don't you just tell us? Why you? Why should you, of all people, be the solution to the problem? Why should you be able to prevent something that has happened to mankind for thousands of years? You! That's right. You don't know. Because you are a stupid, dirty brat. A murdering, stupid brat and nothing else. See? You did it again. You made me unhappy. You made me curse. And cursing is a sin. Don't you understand? I'm only trying to help you to see. This is not you, don't you understand? You are not yourself. And deep down inside, you know it as much as I do.
You know it. You know it.
So, tell me, silly, why is it so hard for you to just let go? Your place is here, in the realm of the dead. So just let yourself fall. It only hurts in the beginning, you know? Then it's like falling asleep. Please, my child, we miss you so much. Little sister wants to play with you again.
Play with you. Play with
And the
you.
two of us, we could go hunting again, like back in the old days. Find ourselves a nice deer, and then have a good, juicy piece of meat for dinner. But can you even listen to me? Hey, you're not supposed to leave yet. You're already here. So why don't you just stay? Please, child, stay with us. 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 Stay with us.
Stay with me. Hey, can you hear me? Wake up. Bad dreams? A lot. We got damn lucky. That raft Korek put us on was about as seaworthy as a paper ship. But thank the sun, that fisherwoman over there took us in. She's headed for Duneville, and we should arrive soon. Couple of hours. That spell Korek's mute buddy put on you must have been quite a doozy. They felt a blow to the back of the head would suffice for me. Guess I was the lucky one. Yeah. That guy should really go easier on the bottle, if you ask me. But it seems that the thousands who follow him see things differently. As if the high ones alone weren't threat enough. Now they have a self-proclaimed messiah to back them up. That's just peachy. Well, as I heard it, he thinks the cleansing is evolution. We become higher beings. We ascend to a new level of existence, so to speak. And he thinks the reason for the red madness in Enderal is that people still haven't learned the truth about the death of the Lightborn. They're still superstitious, so the sickness weeds them out. Natural selection. And yeah, it sounds absurd. I guess people always see what they want to see. I'm afraid so. According to the fisherwoman, the first of Korak's battleships have already arrived near Duneville. It'll take them a while to get the rest of their fleet over here from Narim, but still. Enderal isn't ready for this. Not at all. Most guards haven't tried their weapons on anything other than training dummies, or at the most, bandits. In other words, we're screwed. Well, I guess first of all, we should be grateful we made it out alive. I bet that if Korak would have known your role in all this, we'd be as dead as doornails by now. Once we arrive in Duneville, we should get back to Ark as soon as possible. I'm sure Arenthiel and the others have already written us off as dead. I suggest you ask the fisherwoman how much farther it is to the village. Well, I suppose first of all I'll go get my pay. Regardless of what transpired, we fulfilled our mission. After that, I don't know. War is an entirely different story, and ending up beaten to a pulp with a damned warhammer certainly isn't on my priority list. Maybe. The Order might be powerful here in Enderal, but compared to Narim's army, it's a joke. And maybe... On the other hand, if we don't manage to stop the cleansing from happening, it won't make a difference if I'm here or on Calais. Oh, my, what did I get myself into? I feel like a bloody marionette in a goddamn play. Ouch. Bad one. Can't say it isn't kind of cute, though. You know, there's one thing I just couldn't get out of my head since all this started. Does mankind deserve to be saved? I mean, have we as a species really made this world a better place? What have we accomplished apart from bloodbaths and wars in the name of the true gods or the right way to see things? And even now that we have a common enemy, we fail spectacularly to pull together. That's pathetic somehow, isn't it? Just pathetic. Heck, I sound like the biggest cynic alive. Let's stop here before it gets any worse. Go talk to the fisherwoman. You're really curious, aren't you? But yes, there is something that troubles me apart from the obvious. It's my sister. Well, I told you that we haven't talked much since... You know, since the thing with our family happened. A couple of moons before we met, I wanted to change that, and I went to see her at the League of the Apothecary in the Frostcliff Mountains. But she was gone, just like that, and no one knew where she went. It's been troubling me for quite some time now. It's probably nothing, but still, I'm worried.
Ah, you're awake. How are you? No offense, but you look battered. Don't thank me. I only did what every other path-abiding citizen would have done as well. Your friend, he told me about the Naramese. War. I have trouble believing it. Huh. From your lips to Malthus's ears. Those bloody Naramese. Nothing is sacred to them anymore, is it? For millennia there was peace between the lands of the civilized world. And now this. They're heretics, if you ask me. No more and no less. They should be hung from trees, all of them. Anyway, I guess it's best if you rest a little more. As I said, you look as though you need it. I'll wake you up when we arrive.
Saira, good to see you. I heard about what happened on Half Moon Island. It's a wonder you and that mercenary made it back alive. But war, it just seems so unreal. How has it come to this? Now we not only have to fight these High Ones, but also some fanatic who thinks he knows best? If they are, then maybe we were foolish to think that the Red Madness is the only weapon at their disposal. Tell me, Saira, how is it possible that our beliefs about what's best for mankind are so different? Why are we so eager to be at each other's throats? Suffering leads to more suffering. Yes, that makes sense. You know what I find so hard to understand? Why there are so few people who actually care. So few people who feel the need to change something like you and I do. There are moments I just feel so powerless. As if we all know that if we keep going like this, we're headed for a catastrophe. But instead of changing course, we just stand by and watch. Do you know the feeling? Yes, I mean, is it so hard to see that this world could be such a better place if we'd only care a tiny bit more about something other than what's happening in front of our doorsteps? You understand what I'm trying to say, don't you? You know that feeling too. I wish I could do that. Whenever I think about it, I find it so hard not to get angry. Take all those upper city snobs with their colorful garments and exotic perfumes. They could put all that money to such good use if only they wanted to, but no, they don't, because they just don't give a damn about the poor. Sometimes I imagine going down there, grabbing one of them by the collar and dragging them down into the Undercity. And there I'd force them to see, just for once. But even that probably wouldn't help. I guess we only care about the things that directly affect us. Who fights against poverty if he's never suffered from it? Yes. And once again, you've had to listen to another deluge of my whining. I guess I'm just not a person for pleasantries. Sorry. Anyway, I need to make some preparations now. Master Bartar requested my support with something, and I shouldn't keep him waiting any longer.
There's no basis for negotiation.
He has not seen what we have seen. The writings, the memories of the Prophet. If he just realized...
Taranor Koarek would rather throw away his comb. That had been a mistake. Believe me, I know him.
And where is Constantine?
That's a long story.
And those were his final words? I can't believe it.
Simply another victim of the High Ones. If we do not activate the beacon soon, he won't be the last.
Oh, right. The beacon. If it's activated, we'll simply glow the red madness away, won't we? Or maybe we could, for once in all this, do something that actually makes sense, and focus our resources on finding an alchemistical or thaumaturgical solution to this problem, rather than trusting in a pile of scrap metal.
Oh, by the Prophet's ass! Won't you just shut up for a minute? All day long you do nothing but babble, getting on our nerves, and nothing you ever say gets us any closer to a fucking solution. So why don't you just shove off to one of the bathhouses? Go torture the washerwomen with your never-ending lamentations. That would be helpful for a change.
You will take that back.
Will I? Come here and make me. I'd be delighted.
Blasphemy!
Guard your
This is
tongue,
blasphemy.
wild mage, or...
Or what? Are you gonna kill me? That's what you do best, you and your fucking order.
Silence! You are angry, Lishari Pegast, and I understand why. But in the moment you let that anger destroy this alliance, Firespark's sacrifice will have been in vain. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
No. No, it isn't.
Good. I am tired of this endless bickering. We have a responsibility, and we will fulfill it.
Well said, Oranthio. And how exactly do you think we are going to do that? Without the sources, the beacon is as worthless as a heap of rusty iron.
The chroniclers are on it, and they will find the answer. Novice, tell Commander Aaron to join us. We need to plan the defense of the land. You, Prophet, will come to me as soon as you have recovered. Now, let us get to work.
The sun be praised you've made it. Constantine. He didn't deserve this. It's just not fair. Someone is gonna pay for it. I'll see to that. I have to talk to you as soon as possible. It's about the seal in that letter we found on the mercenaries in Old Rashengrad. I believe I'm onto something. Their client is from Enderal. From Ark, to be more precise. Let's not talk here, though. Meet me in the Dancing Nomad. I'll be in the first room upstairs, right at the end of the staircase. And hurry. Yes, see you there.
Irrelevant. This madman, Koarek. He has completely reshuffled the cards. Now we not only have to deal with the High Ones, but also with him and his fanatics. However, there's also good news. You have probably seen it already. Physically, yes. And we also know how it works now, and how it can put an end to the cycle. It is easier than we thought. The beacon was constructed for one thing, to destroy the High Ones. Once reconstructed, infused with energy and activated, lit, as the Pyreans called it, it can banish the High Ones from this plane of existence. Immaterial, indeed. Essentially, they can be compared to the cold or to shadows. Omnipresent elements, yet we cannot touch them. Energy, if you will. However, there is a counterpart to each energy. Cold and fire, shadow and light. The High Ones and the beacon. Yes. Imagine a torch driving away the darkness in the moment it is ignited. This is what the beacon can do, except that the banishing will be permanent. Yes, as I said, it needs to be infused with energy before it can be lit. I take it you have noticed the 3 sockets on its base. They are what it draws its power from. Once they are filled, the beacon can be ignited and the High Ones will be undone, once and for all. At least, if the old writings are true. The only thing left for us to find out is what these energy sources are. But we are close. Give the Arcanists some more time and I will let you know if there's any news. In the meantime, get equipped accordingly. Some of the Nerimes have landed already, and outbreaks of the Red Madness become more and more frequent as we speak. No, there are not enough, and we must keep the few there are in our possession, in case anything unexpected should happen. The only thing we can do to stop the madness is to destroy the High Ones as soon as possible. Well, it's only fair to tell you. You've always been honest to me, so I will do the same. Have you ever heard of the Night of the Thousand Fires? Between 8,192 and 8,202, there was an underground movement in Kira called the Red Half Moon. They were brought into being by a group of intellectuals and philosophers who, under all the freedom of thought Saldrine granted them, started questioning the reign of the Golden Queen, and thus the Lightborn themselves. Saldrine saw himself as the god of knowledge, and accordingly he reigned his country. In Kira, no opinion is forbidden, which is why it is home to countless magic schools and universities, where people do nothing but discuss the reason for being all day long. An appealing thought if you hear it for the first time, but a cunning people isn't easy to reign, There have been more revolts and riots in Kira than bones in a graveyard, and the Red Half-Moon was the worst of them. Correct, just as my son did. But other than him, they fought like cowards. Terror, dust crystals planted in the marketplaces, and assassinations, you name it. If they killed innocents, they blamed the Golden Queen, and if they killed her soldiers, they celebrated themselves as liberators. However, they never succeeded in putting her down, and neither did she in destroying them, which is why the court turned to the Lightborn for help. A division of the Holy Order led by me, a young keeper of barely 30 winters. None to be taken seriously. You know, not everywhere is the Order as present as here on Enderal, or as it once was on Narim. In Kira, we were ridiculed. I saw the Kiranian keepers who served the Golden Queen. A bunch of decadent gluttons who had dedicated themselves to the court's banquets rather than to the will of the gods. They were pathetic. A moon after our arrival, we received an anonymous tip on where one of the half-moon's bases was supposed to be located, in a small coastal village. As we entered it, we were greeted by the township's elders, and the villagers themselves had gathered behind them. You should have seen how they stared at us, as if we were plunderers. I should have seen by then that something was wrong. Yes, but if there was one thing the Red Half-Moon was good at, it was sowing lies. According to them, we were nothing but butchers who executed everyone unable to recite the Revelation word for word. That's what they wanted us to think, and they did a good job at that. A veiled person here, an archer on the rooftops there. I got nervous, because villagers or not, they bested us in numbers, and they had kettled us. Then a man seemed to charge at us, and I gave the order to draw weapons. It was just the spark they needed. No, not a fight. A massacre. The villagers had pitchforks and shepherd staffs, and we had shadow steel swords, let alone the fact that we were trained warriors. I realized that I had made a mistake a split second after it started, but it was too late by then. My men, they slaughtered them all, like pigs. At the end of the day, 300 people were dead, and only 10 of them were keepers. Have you ever been in a big battle? Even if my men would have stopped, the villagers were blinded with rage and panic. No. From the moment I gave the order, it was too late. Well, what better proof of the Lightborn's cruelty is there than a division of keepers who, out of pure wickedness, slaughtered an entire village, women and children included. If the people had already distrusted us before that distrust had turned into hatred, and nothing could have changed that, not even the Golden Queen's heralds. We set sail back to Enderal a week later. 2 years after that, the Red Half-Moon destroyed itself due to infighting. Ironic, isn't it? I should have, yes. The Lightborn and the Grandmaster back at that time showed the compassion I wouldn't grant myself. But I learned one thing, and that is that I will never again let fears about my own life influence my decisions. What happened in Kira was the consequence of my own cowardice, and my unwillingness to give my life for a just cause. That will never happen again. What? Really? That's interesting. Provided this is true, that means that the emissaries aren't just people who fight the cleansing. They are people who fight for it too. And that also means that whoever granted us our powers and our purpose isn't an enemy of the High Ones, but a neutral party. I beg your pardon. What? And the same goes for me? That's ridiculous. They wanted to deceive you, to sow discord. I saw the threat the cleansing posed before anyone else did. And without me, we would have never come that far. Something changed inside me since I fled from my prison. I feel it. And it is the same thing that made you a part of all this. Now, enough of this.